Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Wednesday weekly voice, music, and mindset and marketing, talking about all the things for independent artists, how to really step up your artistry, step into becoming really the artist of your life. As you are coming on, just give me a shout out in the comments where you're tuning in from. And I'm live on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook. So welcome to everybody. How are you faring so far with 2024? Are you doing your music? Are you doing your daily? Are you working on your craft and stepping into your next level? Today, I'm talking about the 3 tips to keep your singing voice healthy and performing at its peak, right? This is the aim. This is the goal. A quick announcement before we dive in. You might want to check out our brand new shop page and familiarize yourself with my private sessions and how to work with me throughout the year, how to get a vocal analysis session, things like that are really valuable tools and coveted sessions for you to really get feedback on your voice from someone like myself. And then we also have our Artist Sanctuary membership, which is really the least expensive way to be in our community. It's an incredible artist community of over 60 artists global, all over the world. Amazing artists and musicians supporting each other. We have a monthly mastermind, a monthly coaching and accountability call. We have sounding boards where we listen to your music and give really good feedback on A&R and guidance and that kind of thing. And we also have special guest speakers. This month we have Jeff Bova, Grammy-winning music producer who worked with Celine Dion and Michael Jackson and on and on and on. Just really extraordinary guest. And when you register, you get access to all the past masterminds. So we started in April of 2023, so we're almost at a year. Last month we had January we had Emily White from Collective Entertainment, incredible manager and creator of the I Voted contest, author of the book How to Create a Sustainable Career in Music and Collect All Your Revenue Streams. She also has a podcast. But come and join us. It's an incredibly supportive community, no matter what level you're at, if you're just starting out or if you're further along. We really believe in embracing all artists at all levels and all genres. And so it's a really richly supportive community. So come and check that out. For around $50 a month, you can be a part of this and get so many resources. Also inside is my music industry resources and referrals G sheet, which is filled with managers and lawyers and booking agencies and festivals and it's a master spreadsheet of all of my referrals and recommendations for companies to work with inside the music business. So let's get into the topic. So 3 tips to keep your singing voice healthy and performing at your peak. It is the aim of every performing singer. Nothing is worse than when your voice is not holding up or it's not delivering the way that you want on that key performance, right? So after working with singers for over 4 decades and being one myself, I do know a thing or two, and studying vocal health and being trained in vocal therapy, I know a thing or two about keeping your voice healthy, and I hope to help you with that today. Sorry about that. My early interest in natural health, and I studied herbology and natural medicine. And then the biomechanics, the studying of the biomechanics of the voice really led to many, many discoveries. And so I want to give you today, let me just make sure that phone call does not come in again. Sorry, guys. Okay. All set. Whoops. Sorry. I'm flipping this around on you. I apologize. I totally forgot to set that. Okay, there we go. Here are my top tips for keeping your voice healthy. And these lives that I do every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern are coming from the blog. So it's the subject of the week. My blog comes out every Wednesday at the top of the day. So you don't have to scribble, furiously to take notes. If you don't want to, you can go over to the blog and everything is outlined. And I usually do about 3 tips out of 5 I share with you. So you can go over there and get all the information nicely written out and organized for you at caricole.com. So, the first number one thing is really to focus on good health and hygiene in the weeks prior. So, the weeks prior are so important in preparing your voice and taking care of your voice. And there's some really, really simple things that you can do. And you guys have all heard me talk about the importance of hydration, how important that is, because without having a really hydrated voice, you're going to have trouble with your break area. You're going to have trouble with your high notes, right? So, when you're dehydrated, you'll have more trouble with vocal range, with your passaggio break area, with smoothness. You'll even have trouble with tone. Your voice can be a little bit more raspy, or um, the chords can feel sort of thick, or they don't have a lot of flexibility and movement, right? And keep in mind that most people are dehydrated. So follow my hydration plan, which is, half of your body weight in water, which is what everybody says. But a couple of those cups you can substitute with a fresh organic green juice. You can substitute with broth, and then also add a salad a day. So you're getting that water content from uncooked food. Raw food has a higher level of water content in it. Okay. So, and keep in mind, most people are dehydrated. So it takes at least 3 days to really hydrate yourself. So I would start a week prior to an important performance or recording. Definitely 3 days important before an important performance or recording, because you want to be at your best. And when you're hydrated, wow, your voice will fly. You can sing those high notes. You really won't believe the difference. So try it once and experience it for yourself. The other thing is to try to get some extra rest, because the two things that you can't mask or hide in the voice are dehydration and sleep deprivation. So both are important to keep your voice healthy. So even if you're the kind of person that can't get a lot of, maybe you have kids waking up at night or other things, a job where you work weird hours or things like that, and it's harder for you to get a full night of sleep, what I recommend is then be a good napper. Like nap later on in the day. Just do like a 20-minute power nap, even a 10-minute power nap, because you need to get that rest. And again, when your voice is dehydrated, you're going to have trouble with your range. When your voice is tired, you're going to have trouble with your range and your break. So because the voice is an instrument inside the physical body, you're going to experience these things. Um, and yes, I see your questions, and I'm going to get to them in a minute. Thank you, Armando. I'm so glad that the singer's gift is working for you. Yes, that's my singer's gift warm ups. They are designed to open and free the voice with some innovative and unusual techniques, particularly in releasing tensions in the voice that no other warm ups really address. So you can get that. Be sure to go grab the coupon code on the link in bio. So I talked about dehydration and how to up your water content for the week prior to performance. You can also put fruits like melon and eat fruits. Melon is the number one fruit for artists, but also, strawberries are good. They're not necessarily as juicy, but melon is the supreme fruit for singers, because there was a study done with Eric Clapton and Elton John by one of my ENTs over here at NYU. And they did a study to keep them hydrated. And the two things that they discovered, one was if you drink through a straw, um, you are able to retain the water longer. So that's an interesting point. And the second was that melon, uh, cantaloupe mostly, cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon as well. Uh, Cantaloupe in particular, the molecules are fatter. And so because they are fatter, they stay in the throat area longer, and they more like hydrate and moisturize the throat area. So it doesn't feel so dry. So those were the two results of that study. So I always recommend to singers to eat melon and to put melon in your water, which is a really nice way to drink water without having just to drink plain water all day long, right? And then sleep to get a full 8 hours. If you can, keep your room as dark as you can. Avoid phone blue light for our device blue light for 1 hour before bedtime, and keep the room cool, which helps sleep. And again, if you can't get that full 8 hours, take 10 to 20 minutes of power naps throughout the day. And then you really want to keep your immune system healthy and avoid getting sick, right? Because often before a performance, there's that extra stress and it's easier for your immune system to drop. So, to keep from getting sick, and I have a lot more recommendations on my blog. So, head over there and join the list at caricole.com so you get my weekly blog in your inbox. It's a fresh, brand new blog every single week in your inbox. But the blog is a plethora of guidance and help for singers. And all my natural remedies, not all, but most of my natural remedies, most of the most important ones are there. I also have recommendations and links for you to get certain herbs and certain things that are not really talked about out there that I have found over the years really support singers. But this is a really quick method that Dr. Peter McCullough, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he's a leading cardiologist, but he really became outspoken during the whole COVID pandemic on how to keep the virus from really getting into your system and going full blown. So he says it takes the germs about 3 days to incubate, and they incubate in or to turn into a full blown issue. And they incubate in the passages of the throat and the nose, in the nasal cavity and the throat cavity. So you have 3 days to flush out all of those germs and viruses before blooming into a full illness, right? So one of the things that he recommends is to nebulize, and you can use, I don't have it here, but I have just a little portable nebulizer, and you just put the solution in the top, and I would do 2-3 parts water and 1 part hydrogen peroxide, like 2-3 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide, and you're a food grade, and you're inhaling that. It's a natural antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. You can also use colloidal silver in the case that you don't have hydrogen peroxide, but this will actually clean all those germs. And then you always want to gargle as well. So if you've been at a gathering with a lot of people, have a little portable bottle of mouthwash. I like doTERRA's On Guard because it is made from essential oils and more natural. But when you gargle, and singers are like this, when you gargle like all the way up into your range so that you open up those parts of the throat to get those areas. And then if you don't have the nebulizer, you can just spray colloidal silver up the nose to get rid of those germs. And I use this, and it's extraordinarily effective. And I also recommend a silicosinum, which is a homeopathic remedy by Boiron, which works with COVID and respiratory issues to avoid getting sick. So those are my really quick tips. I have a lot more, but I really recommend that because gosh, right before your performance, you have more stress, you have more tension, the immune system goes down, and it's easier to catch things. So those are my recommendations for that. Number two, so that was number one. And number one was to focus on good health and hygiene in the weeks prior. Number two is to keep up with your vocal practice, right? So peak performance is attainable when you have a regular, consistent vocal technique practice, right? And if you don't have one, get one. Who here has a regular vocal technique practice? Just give me a shout out. Let me actually open up my YouTube and make sure that I can see everybody there as well. Okay, I can see the comments. Just want to see the comments there. Okay. So who here has a regular practice? Does anybody have a regular vocal technique practice, a warm-up practice, and a voice building practice? Just give me a high five. Yes, Laredo. Yes. Who else? Who has a regular practice? Because the thing is, if you're cramming right before the performance and you're not regularly training, right? And the regular training, my co-vocal method has within it warm-ups, conditioning and cool downs, and voice building. And the voice building you wouldn't do in the couple days before performance, but you need to do in the weeks to month prior to a very important performance. Say you had an opportunity to perform an important event, and there were going to be, your peers were going to be there, or some famous singers or something like that. You really want to prepare ahead of time. right? So every day that you're not doing a professional performance or recording, you want to be using the voice building exercises, right? Because those are building the overtone series and the legato line and all that. And for more information about the Cole vocal method, head over to my blog or just Google Cari Cole, the Cole vocal method, and that page will pop up and you'll learn more about it. And we're going to be presenting more about that because we're getting ready for our vocal coach certification program to teach the Cole vocal method, and also for interested students that want to learn more. You don't have to, be certified to take the course, but or want to teach, but you just want to learn more. But it's also for vocal coaches to teach the method. It's the first time we're doing this. It starts June 27th, 2024. So we'll be talking a lot about the Cole vocal method and laying out more specific information about it, and how powerful it is in really building the tone and the strength and the endurance. Anybody using the Cole vocal method over there? Yeah, just give me a heart in the comments. So number two is to keep up with the vocal practice, right? So peak performance is attainable when you have a consistent, regular vocal technique practice. You want to be ready for what's coming. And every singer performing at a high level of performance works on their technique to improve their vocal production. Yes, Carrie. If you don't have a good vocal daily practice, get one. Start with my Singers Get Vocal warm-ups. And you want to arrange 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So I have it organized in 20 minutes a day sections. Ideally you're doing 40 minutes a day, but as a 20-minute minimum, you can feel a big change. Okay. So what do I want to say else about that? I want to say, and put it right in your calendar. Schedule it in your calendar. Don't fool around. Schedule it. Put it in the uh, time of day. Get that in, just like you would a workout, right? It's critical for you to be able to have that freedom when you're singing to be doing your vocal technique practice, right? And then on the days of the performance, you do the warm ups, right? Because those open and free. It's a specific set of exercises that open and free the voice for performance. And then number three, I would say, I mean, there's a couple more over on the blog. I talk about the vocal stretches that you need to do to stretch your instrument to reduce tension. So I have that all laid out there. I also have open your throat before singing is on the blog, and then vocal massage. So let me talk about vocal massage for a minute, because this is a really, really important one. And again, it's something that people don't talk about that much. So vocal massage in general, but also body work, acupuncture, things like this can really help to reduce tension in the core muscles of the voice, which then opens up the voice for singing. Now, I wouldn't do this the day before a recording or important performance, or the day of, because sometimes when you get these kinds of treatments, you can have some toxins that circulate in the body. Now, if you work out regularly and you have treatments regularly, you're not going to experience that so much. But I'm talking to the person who doesn't really have massage that much, and you're like, oh, I heard Cari Cole talk about massage, so I'm going to get a massage the day before the performance, and then the day of the next day when you're ready to perform, you're tired or feeling sluggish. And that could be because the massage sort of released some toxins and you didn't drink enough water to flush it out, or that kind of thing. So I just always want to be mindful. And none of the advice that I'm giving, all of it is just advice and information that I found over the years have worked tremendously well. I'm not a doctor, so we have a disclaimer on all of our materials. But the vocal massage, here's one of the reasons why it works so well and why it's so important. And I forgot to close the window. Sorry. I'm getting used to getting my YouTube setting correct. So bear with me. Thank you very much. I need a little checklist, right? So during singing, air comes up from the lungs and it hits the vocal folds, and vibration and sound occur. And as you sing, this action tends to push up the vocal muscles, contributing to what I call a high larynx, right? And a choking sensation or tight sensation in the throat. This is very, very common. So in my warm-ups, I put vocal massages to pull the muscles down, to create more space to open the throat before singing. And that's why one of the several reasons why the singer's gift works so well. Because if a singer is never monitoring that, or adjusting what's happening in the throat, and they're just singing, 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 and nobody really talks about vocal massage, or not much. And certainly doctors don't talk about it. They just want to give you a steroid because they're trained in medicine, not in the muscles of the body in terms of health and how to keep the singer healthy. So vocal massage helps to return these muscles to their original position and remediate the extra tension that is accumulating. So I just want to try a quick exercise, and then we're going to go to questions for you all. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat, so in the comments, so I can, or the chat, wherever you are, so I can take a look at that. Let me actually open up my Facebook and see. I don't think most people are aware that we're doing this on Facebook yet. But just in case there's comments over there, I need to get that open. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So most everybody is on Instagram. Okay. So put your thumb and your forefingers, like pad your forefingers together at the top of the throat. So the thyroid cartilage is here. It's like a butterfly, right? And the V's out, vocal cords are inside. So put your fingers here at the top of the throat and yawn. Do a little yawn in the back of the throat. You feel this drop, right? And then go ahead and pull that down on the side. So no pinching, no squeezing. You're just putting your fingers here at the top of that thyroid cartilage, yawning, and pull down. And take a nice breath as you do that, and yawn and pull down. And this is something that I've even done on stage in between songs. Say I had a very, very difficult song, like a lot of high notes or that kind of thing, and then I'm going into a ballad, I'll turn around and chat with the drummer for a quick second, or like I'm chatting with the drummer, and I'll pull that down, right? Especially if my voice is not functioning well that day, right? On a regular basis, I don't need to do it. It's only if I'm feeling an accumulation, maybe I've been singing night after night kind of thing, right? And there are more vocal massages and stretches within the vocal singers get vocal warm-ups. I put them in the warm-ups because they open and free the voice and get the voice ready for performance, along with vocal exercises and breathing exercises and all those other things. So that's just a little tidbit, a little preview or peek into some of the methods that I use. I did study massage with Kathy Thompson, who studied with Ida Rolf, who is the creator of Rolfing. If for those of you that know, Rolfing is very effective for releasing very, very deep tensions. And singers need to release very, very deep tensions. So that's just a really quick massage, but you really need, especially if you're having vocal problems or you're burning out or wearing out early, vocal massage is a tool. And inside my vocal resource library, which is an ebook that you can get on my site, so go to caricole.com to the shop and you'll see it. I have laid out my self massage techniques, what I recommend for singers there. I've written it all out for you, so I recommend that you pick that up. Let's go to questions. Okay, let me go back just a little bit here. I'm looking mostly on Instagram. I don't see anything on YouTube. I see a couple people watching though, so welcome. But I don't see any questions there yet. I'll look. And then let's go over to Instagram, where we have a few more people on. So let's see. We have, where are our questions? Oh, that's amazing. Armando, you've been using the warm-up since 2023 and you love them. Oh my God, I love that. They've helped you with your voice. Wonderful. Do you recommend doctor voice or vocal mist? Yeah, vocal mist. I checked it out a little bit. I'm not a big fan of that. I like just portable nebulizers. You just put water in, and the pure mist I don't really like because I can't clean the actual cavity where the water is, and when water sits, there's always bacteria, so I'm not a fan of those. I have a portable nebulizer, ultrasonic mesh nebulizer that I use. You can find on Amazon. It's called it's made by Guilife, Gulife, Gulife, but on Amazon it just says portable nebulizer, ultrasonic mesh nebulizer, cool mist steam inhaler for moisture. So that's the one that I use. And then What was your other question? Doctor voice. I don't even know what that is. That must be something new that I don't know about. Let me just check it out. Doctor voice. Singing therapy with pocket voice. Yeah, there's so many things now coming out. Um, Ultra voice. That looks complicated. I'll check it out and let you know. Maybe tag me on Instagram and I'll answer once I've checked it out. Okay, should we be warming up before we talk if we talk at work all day? Yeah, talking is not warming up. Talking is wearing out. It's wearing your voice out, right? So there are very specific warm up exercises that you want to do, right? That you would use from the singer's gift. So you may do, if you're having a long set, you would do a short little warm up. So pick your favorite singer's gift exercises that you feel really open you up. And then make sure you do the massage pieces. Okay. Let's see. I think Carrie had a question here. Trying to get to 5 days, but averaging 3 to 4. Jennifer, I practice daily. Kudos to you. Let's see. During a busy season, Carrie says, do you have a recommendation for vocal building exercises during weeks that you're either recording or performing every single day? Well, if you're recording or performing every single day, I would put the vocal voice building exercises on hold unless you can handle it, right? 20 minutes of vocal, I mean, try it. Try 20 minutes of the voice building and see if it bothers you. But for a very, very important, like, a performance where you've got really important people in the audience, I wouldn't do it. But for cover gigs or gigs that aren't quite as important, I don't think it's a big deal, right? It's more about, does it is it wearing me out, right? And the more you do the masters, the less it wears you out. So you may not have a problem. I just have to be very careful in guiding singers that are not working with me personally. I know we're working together so we can talk about it more, but that's a good question for other people as well. But I have to be very careful when I'm talking out here about that you don't want to do voice building generally on the day of a performance, because voice building is voice building. It's building your voice. So it's going to require a little bit more from you, whereas the warm-ups are designed to open and free the voice, right? Let's see. Anybody else? We have a couple minutes left. Yeah, it's really an art, keeping your voice in really peak performance shape. And it has, because your voice is an instrument inside your body, the state of the body affects the voice. So we're also susceptible to environmental things around us and what we're eating and, that kind of thing. The Filmmakers Tribe says, any suggestions for vocal cord closure when my voice sounds breathy and weak? Yes, 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 yes. Start with the singer's gift warm-ups, and then I would in particular use the vocal rescue kit, the conditioning exercises. So my co-vocal method brings the chords together, right? I mean, any good singing technique brings the chords together, but we have very specific exercises that train that breathiness. And I used to have a breathy voice. When I started singing, I was a good singer. I could sing, I had good pitch and that kind of thing. But my voice was a little breathy and I didn't have the control that I wanted. So as I trained, I got more tone. And the breathiness happens because the chords are too far apart, which it sounds like you're familiar with, right? And the weakness is addressed by stripping away. We do a lot of tongue pulling and jaw pulling while we're vocalizing to strip away what we call the compensatory muscles. We want to take the tension out of the compensatory muscles, which are the tongue and the jaw and the back of the neck that jump in to help. And we want to lengthen all those muscles and isolate the laryngeals. And then when we do these conditioning exercises in particular, that I also call cool downs, but I call them more conditioning now because I use them. They're little geehees. And when you go to the voice doctor, you can see the edge of the vocal fold the most on the eval. And so this method is based on vocal science, 40 years of studying vocal science and biomechanics. And what we discovered is that what actually Edward J. Dwyer, who was my mentor's mentor, who really originated this technique, he observed what happens when you sing the E vowel and you do these little H's. And we have these little, so the chords pull together the most for the E. We see the edges thin out, which helps with the breathiness and increasing tone. And then as you're singing, he, we have these little puffs of air because H is the only consonant formed by the vocal folds. And then as you're doing that motion, they're pulling together. And that really works to start bringing more tone and clearing up the breathiness. Yes. All right. Well, we are at time. Thank you so much. Be sure to hit the notification bell for when I go live every Wednesday on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And follow us and subscribe. There's a lot of playlists on YouTube where you'll find mini voice lessons, also on Instagram in our Reels section. And we do put out breathing exercises. We just started that last month, putting out the third one tomorrow. Where they're just quick, like 1 to 2 minute breathing exercises you can just pull up on your phone and practice. And I hope to see you around, and come and join our community and get nurtured and get supported and work on your voice, and grab a vocal analysis session where I will listen ahead of time and come with notes, and we can at least point you in the right direction. Have a wonderfully, wildly creative rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.